Hey everyone, so in this video I'm gonna walk you through how to build a social media campaign for FIFA World Cup in 2026. The reason why I brought this topic for you today is because we've been actually creating a proposal for some of the global brands for entering Korea or Japan, and then further English-speaking markets with beautiful campaign stuff for FIFA 2026. And many of you really don't know how to strategically approach this campaign launching, something like pre-launch strategy, during launch strategy, and post-launch strategy, and then what exact timeline we have to actually follow. Also, creating the actual campaign needs a lot of strategic strategy, meaning it's not gonna be like let's go team kind of like marketing material. And then if you don't plan strategically, that means you can just pick one or two things probably in May or June, and then finally you just post out of nowhere without any strategy, and then you got really low engagement. That can happen. And not only that, during that period, actually marketing agencies started to look for those great influencers, and then we usually secure the great influencer partnerships early 2026. Actually, it should be no later than January, because those periods are so obsessed with those partnerships going on. So it's so important to secure the right partnerships before the competitors secure the beautiful partnerships. So that's why I'm here to walk you through the 5 steps on how to build effective social media campaign for FIFA World Cup 2026. By the way, hi, I'm Hyein. I am the founder of HY Marketing, helping international brands succeed in Korea, Japan, and beyond with strategic social media marketing. So I'd love to walk you through these 5 steps to build your social media campaign. So the step number 1 is to prepare your tagline and your vision and mission. Maybe some of you don't really have your mission or tagline or vision even, but it's always about what's the core idea here, and then how you can distribute or share your ideas to the audience. Because once you're clear about the feeling or emotions after they try your product or after they experienced your services, that's the one core message that we are going to go for. For example, Haribo, they actually aim for the childish joy or happiness, meaning once we eat that, we can feel those sense of joy or emotions. Actually, we don't really enjoy that childish happiness all the time, but that's their vision that they aim for. It's important to think about the emotions part really hard, like before they meet your product or services and after they meet your product or services. So Haribo brand wanted to aim for those childish happiness. Before we meet Haribo gummies, we could feel like, oh, I'm so bored and I don't know, I feel empty in my life. But then I saw this advertisement about Haribo and it looks so delicious, and then I tried it. And then initially I felt a little bit dopamine because it's delicious. And then I was really happy about it. This could be a simple way to put together to create your beautiful campaign. So that's why it's important to bring your tagline and then vision and then core mission and your global core idea here. And then you can definitely distribute or share that idea into Korea or Japan or other English-speaking markets in APAC, so that you can handle all of that effectively. And then I don't think that we have to really change your vision or mission in every market possible, or even the core brand color. So that's why having the right main keywords from your core identity is gonna be the key that we have to check first. And then step number 2 is finding or knowing or understanding the trend. For example, like countries like Korea or Japan. I'm gonna bring this Korean market first. We have an ongoing trend like healthy pleasure or eat healthy or zero trend. Zero trends mean we are opposed to sugar or a lot of sweets that add a lot of artificial ingredients. So it's more about healthy pleasure, or we are gonna eat healthy and we're gonna live long. So if you can look at those trends, what I recommend is go to Google Trend, or if you are targeting those Korean markets, we have a neighbor system. If you want to learn more about how to do the market research in Korea, you can visit this video and learn from there. Generally speaking, Google Trend, the search engine trends or TikTok trends are something that you can check first and then find out the right keywords or right categories. Because at the end of the day, if the market is not agreeing what you share, let's say Coca-Cola, they actually made the new product about the zero sugar Coke, right? And then it was based on the market trends where we want more healthy pleasure, we want more healthier product. So that's why it's important to listen what audience want. It's important to read what market wants. So that's why the number 2 step was finding the trend, and then you already prepared your tagline and vision, the keywords, and then in step number 2, you can actually learn from the unexpected winners at the same time. So I'm gonna share my screen for you so that you can understand further. For example, you are not you when you're hungry, the Snickers advertisement. This actually brought a bit of humor and then unexpected transition. That's why it was so memorable in a way. Let's watch this one for 30 seconds. So basically the sneakers have also the core identity, right? So actually Mars manage all of the brands and then sneakers are part of it, right? And their mission is inspire moments of everyday happiness and you feel a sense of pride in your work. So the pride, happiness was the emotion they wanted the customers feel, right? And then with that advertisement, as you can see that she was struggling and then later she changed to a man with very athletic feature and then he was able to perform well. And then later there's a man additionally like you are not you when you're hungry, so you need sneakers because this is a snack that you can feel a sense of pride in your work or even happiness. So that's why I mentioned to you, you have to really think about the core vision or mission or your main emotions first. And then later you have to check what would be the trend that we have to actually check, how we can incorporate trend with our mission. And then we can actually learn from the unexpected winner. So that's why we were watching this sneakers advertisement for sure. There was a unexpected winners in the Super Bowl moment. There was a blackout moment in Super Bowl and then Oreo actually made this Twitter post, power out, no problem, you can still dunk in the dark. And then that tweet really went viral, and this is kind of like a quick and fast campaign related post during the lunch period for sure. But this type of advertisement campaign actually you can execute something like teachers in pre-lunch period and then run campaign during lunch campaigns during actual period in FIFA World Cup, and then later you can actually create the additional post related campaign material so that you can nurture the process. So yeah, that was step number 2. Those two are not the exact trend going on, but I wanted to show you what's gonna be the campaign look like even in the during of the campaign, and also I wanted to show you what would look like during the campaign period. So sneakers have really great transition points from emotions before and after, and how they bring the emotions together, and also unexpected winner strategy during the blackout moment. You can definitely think about how you can utilize this type of framework for sure. And then step number 3, you have to brainstorm, right? What I usually recommend is finding the past works. And there is a URL or website called superbowl.ads.com, and then you can actually go through all of the past year so that you can check how competitors are doing. This was for 2025, and then I believe that they wanted to bring some of the joy or happiness while they eat this snack, right? I think it's a bit cliche. It was not my favorite material. I would just go for sneakers or other campaigns. Anyway, you can definitely check superbowl.ads.com to brainstorm further and then learn more about how competitors are actually doing. And then for social listening, meaning to understand the consumer perspectives, I would usually recommend going to Quora or Reddit. If you are aiming to target English-speaking markets, these are the best to understand the target audience better and then how to define the ongoing trend at the same time. So something like people are searching for some questions at the same time, like what's their concern and then what type of combination they usually have with this peanut butter. And then if you want to go further, I would go to TikTok trend or Google trend if you are targeting English speaking markets. You can look at what's going on in past 24 hours and you can explore by comparing 2 different keywords. For example, you can select worldwide, United States, Canada, Australia, or Korea, Japan. You can look at the categories here if you're aiming to check the food and beverage, and you can check the trending now. Let's say you want to go for past 7 days. You can also check the location, categories, let's say food and drink. You can see the ongoing trend like Taco Bell new menu items. Or if I go to Australia, things can be different. Or Canada, MasterChef Canada. So it's all about understanding what trend going on. And then I mentioned that Quora, Reddit, and also you can go to other platforms like Facebook group community, or if you have a specific group on WhatsApp that actually you can jump in and start social listening together. In Korean market, we have a Kakao or Neighbor, and then that's where we can start social listening. But in English speaking markets, it's also understand the overall trend going on. It should be the mainstream worldwide trend going on. So that's why it's important to look at all of the data at once. So step number 4, you can actually collect all of the amazing campaign that you found from either from this Super Bowl advertisement or from Google or YouTube, or even you started doing the social listening, what type of keywords are popping up and trend are going on, how consumers see your brand, and the trending research, all of that. You collect and listen, and then later you're gonna refine together. But in the beginning, you're gonna just collect all of the data at the same time and then find out what's the commonalities between the data actually. It would take some time to analyze and then monitor and track for sure. And then step number 5, finally, you have to create your actual campaign draft. I just recommend having the emotion-based statement. For example, I actually highlighted the before and after emotion and then thinking about your core mission, right? So the haribo, the childish happiness, I felt bored, but I met this haribo. That's why I feel this joy or happiness. And then the sneakers, they wanted to make the customers feel pride in their work or happiness. So that's why they were struggling initially, and then they met sneakers, and then finally, boom, they feel more powerful or having more pride, right? So this is really easiest way you can brainstorm your campaign draft in one line statement. That's why you can easily have the scenario for your campaign. And then this is the starting point to structure all of your campaign ideas at the same time. So I'm gonna give you another example here. We can even look at other competitors actually. For example, Duolingo. Let's find out Duolingo's mission. So Duolingo say everyone can Duolingo to develop the best language learning education in the world and make it universally available. Learning a language should be nothing to fear and should feel all about fun. So that's why in their content, it's always about the fun learning experiences. So when you really truly understand what you want to bring to the table, it's actually just easy for you to craft your campaign further. And then what I really recommend is once again the connecting the emotions in your content. People eventually buy from you because they want to support you or they need to buy your product. So there is a huge difference one versus need. So that's why initially maybe you could go for the need part, but eventually if you want to build your brand sustainable, the one part is so important. I'm gonna break that down in other video part, but this video is for World Cup FIFA 2026. So I'd like to shortly suggest what the timeline would be to actually structure your campaign. So no later than December, until December, you should have the core tagline or core vision or mission or keyword, and then you have to find out the ongoing trend and then find out all of the commonalities between them. You should do the competitor research and then make a statement in one sentence that I already suggested to you with a power of emotion before and after. And this should be done by December or earlier in January in 2026, and you start doing outreach to influencers in January. And then hopefully you can secure that partnership no later than February, because already February quite late. So the ideal time is until January, closing the deal with the partnerships ongoing. And then what I usually recommend, securing just one or two major influencer here, and then you can actually map out from awareness related influencers to conversion related influencers. So if you have that clear picture, and then you actually hire this major celebrities or influencers, and this would bring tons of brand awareness together, right? So that would fall into this awareness part. But what about conversion? So conversion related influencers also can be found with social listening. You sit there and then listen in those groups that I already mentioned to you, and then you'll find that the one everyone usually mention about it. So that's the hidden spot that you can aim for. There should be a pre-launch strategy. So the FIFA World Cup is gonna be June and July, the game on strategy, but you need to nurture the process with your content creation from at least March. I'm not talking about you should promote the actual FIFA campaign in March. It's more about like warming up the process, and maybe you can incorporate with this brand message that you found with this process or new tagline, and then you can actually bring that idea into your content first and then test wisely. And then finally, you can actually make it possibly like May, since June and July is gonna be the game on. And then June and July is gonna be the campaign execution. And then after the game finishes, you can finally nurture the process with your ongoing tagline at the same time. So while doing the influencer partnerships or user-generated content is gonna be something that you have to do additionally because it's a campaign, or you could even structure the events for that online space or from online to offline strategy at the same time. So at HY Marketing, we can support not only the strategizing your direction with that campaign and then pre-launch space and then post-launch space and actual campaign execution at the same time with social media marketing strategy. For actual original content production, that would need additional film director or video shooting expert. But outside of that, finding your voice or localizing your voice in specific markets, or even doing globalization with your social media account with your core tagline, that's where we can jump in because we specialize in those APAC market, and then we also understand not only English speaking markets and then Korea, Japan market at the same time. We know how to bridge Western markets and Asian markets at the same time. I already shared all of the details about how you can actually brainstorm your campaign ideas. But if you're struggling or you feel like you need a boutique agency like us, you can feel free to find our link in the description box below and then apply to work with us no later than January or February. Thank you.